Wow, it's not even woke, and even China doesn't like it. Hello, everyone. I am Mecca Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Harpy, still from the road, from the undisclosed location somewhere in the middle of the planet, somewhere here. We gotta talk about this Wonder Woman, the unending drama and nightmare, I guess. It's not really a nightmare, but the unending drama around this movie is probably more entertaining than the movie. Now, there are a few things I have to talk about with the drama controversy. The more entertaining part of Wonder Woman that is actually the movie, which is all of this reaction, all of the social media buzz, all of the nonsense. Now, first up, the first thing we want to talk about, and then we'll get to how China feels about it in a second. The first thing we have to talk about is the scene. The scene in which, actually, we'll do that third. The first thing we have to talk about is the fact that a certain IGN writer, commentator, contributor decided that it needed to be, it wasn't woke enough, I suppose, for a lot of these people. And that's true. It's really, really not that woke. I mean, there's furry representation with Cheetah, and that's about it, even though it's CGI furry, so it's not even furry. So we have that, but we don't, and this is the thing. This is the thing. You guys know how I feel about representation and diversity. It's really only there to tell you how you're supposed to act. You're supposed to identify, you're supposed to look and act and behave this way because of marketing. It's all marketing, it's all to get your money. It's not actually because they care about you, it's just that you're a little easier to gauge, because that's the thing. Google and the phones and every little marketing and advertising thing. Like if you're talking about a stand mixer, they're gonna advertise a stand mixer to you for days on end. Oh yeah, because they're picking up what you're saying. So yes, that I think that's where a lot of this comes from, is this AI intelligence going around trying to pick out keywords like woke and diversity. And then they realize that people actually aren't, these stereotypes that the movie studios would love us to be. Because let's face it, stereotypes are a lot easier to sell something to than an actual person with independent thought and of individuality and originality. No. So this IGN writer, we gotta get into this about the representation. She thinks the movie should have more LGBTQ girl-on-girl giggity wackadoo stuff.
Giggity.
Okay, we like girl-on-girl kissing and making out, especially when it's Gal Gadot. I mean, you can't make Kristen Wiig sexy even with Gal Gadot there.
Am I pretty enough to be sexually harassed?
I said Kristen Wiig, not you. We're in a different superhero genre and universe entirely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now, had we had Cheetah and Wonder Woman, Diana, make out, and they realized, oh, I actually love women, and I don't want Steve, I don't think it would have made the movie any better. I really, really don't. As much as I would love to see Gal Gadot making out with girls, and she's done it, right? She's done it before. Yeah, I think that was just for a click. I think that was just the only way anybody was going to get a click on this. And here's the thing. They've been oddly silent about this. They really, really have. Now, it is going to be done. Spoilers, I guess, for, it's not even a review. Spoiler for the video. Yes, this will be #1 at the box office because it is the biggest movie that's opening. It is the most family friendly. It is the most general run-of-the-mill movie that you can take your family to. You can go and see with anybody. You don't have to worry that it's going to be too rated for anything, or it's going to be too young or too old for anybody. Pretty much everybody can enjoy it, but everybody can kind of remember something about this, even though it's a really, really boring movie. But that's beside the case. And yes, they have announced a sequel, a third one. Why would you do that? Because this movie, I mean, they really should have let this one sink in a little bit more before they really. Oh, Patty Jenkins, you're lucky you secured your Star Wars movie before this one dropped. I don't think that would have mattered. I think they would have still given her one. So now we've got word from Deadline. Wonder Woman 3 is being fast-tracked following the sequel's current $85 million worldwide to date. I'm assuming it's worldwide, not Wonder Woman. Right there. Oh, you can't see it. I'll insert it in after the fact. Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot will be back. I hope it's shorter. I really hope it's short. It almost feels like they wanted to insert little, tinfoil conspiracy, Looney Tunes sort of stuff. Like, oh, and we'll make it take place in 1984 for no reason. And we'll give you an Orange Man thing just so you're mad current year for no reason. Boop. All of those things really seemed like you had an extra hour of movie that you really, really didn't need when you could have just had Wonder Woman and Cheetah, or Wonder Woman and not Orange Man bad. And they could have gone a lot of different places other than, where they were. I think a lot of that was for marketing. I really think it was for a lot of marketing and modern day, present day stuff that they didn't really know how to relate to audiences, because there was barely any 80s in that. And that's one of the things I was really, really disappointed for. It's like they threw in so much extra stuff into this movie that they should have cut out. So yes, I'm assuming that's 85 million worldwide. Wonder Woman 3 is being fast-tracked. Warner Brothers announced today. The news comes as the pick amounted to 85 million worldwide after a $16.7 million domestic debut. That's because the rest of the world has more theaters, I guess, that are open. Maybe, I don't know. I thought everybody else was in like their little phase 3 thingy, and I can't say it because then it'll trigger a thing. Oh, we're living in that type of day and age, aren't we? Where you do have to pretty much watch everything you say. 16 million though in the US. All right. Obviously, we have a lot of things to consider right now at the box office. I would have expected it to do 36 or so in the US, not just 16. 16.7 in the theater in the US. This is why they pander so much to overseas. I think this is why, because even in now, they're making like, what, about a third of their money back, half of their money back. How much does this cost? Probably 160. That seems to be the general run of the mill. Plus, I'd tack on another mill every month that they've been delaying this thing. Plus all the reshoots from all the rumors we were hearing how bad it was in the original. And according to those test screenings and leaks way back a couple years back, yeah, this is the movie that tested so poorly that we got. Oh, and it gets better. As much as they do lean heavily to the foreign box office, that's really only relying on the first opening weekend now, isn't it? Because Wonder Woman 1984, according to our good friends over at Cosmic Book News, has dropped 92% in China. 92% in China. The Chinese continue to avoid Wonder Woman 1984 as it hits the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, as the flick has dropped a whopping 92% in its second weekend in China. Following a much less opening than estimates, Wonder Woman 1984 is down 92% in its second weekend, making only $1.55 million. $1 million in China. $1.5 million in China. That's about a tenth of what Gal Gadot made to make this movie. That's okay. What was their whole entire take in China? 92%. So basically, China paid her. Oh. The numbers come from a Twitter user who reports on the Chinese box office, which is the second largest box office in the world. Wonder Woman 1984 is making $1.5 million on its second weekend, down 92% from its $18.5 million opening. Whatever the reason behind this, Warner Brothers gets hurt, and their upcoming titles in 2021 are under huge pressure. What's particularly alarming is that the Chinese theaters are back to normal. So the cough isn't a factor for that one. Yeah, like I said, some other parts of the world are under less controlling measures of, what's going on. I don't even have to get into it. But other countries, some of them are free and loose and some of them are not. But this movie is I can see why they wouldn't want to see it. It has little action and little things for people whose first language might not be English to really, really latch on to. Because let's face it, giant robots fighting is pretty universal. You can pretty much tell what's going on. But when it's some intricate love story and wishes and all these plots, there's going to be a lot of little intricate things that the overseas audiences aren't going to even care about. Even if they're dubbed. I mean, especially if they're subtitled, they're not going to want to sit there and watch that. The first Wonder Woman also performed much better in China, finishing with $90 million at the box office. But Wonder Woman 1984 will probably finish with half that in China, which it is lucky to end up at. Regardless, the US box office obviously is hard to determine if it's a success, but Wonder Woman 1984 opened to much better numbers than Christopher Nolan's Tenet. 16.7 million versus 9.3 million. However, Tenet looks to crush Wonder Woman 84 in terms of the foreign box office, as Tenet has been more successful overseas than stateside, with 66.9 million in China and over 362 million worldwide. And Tenet wasn't a good film either, points out, Cosmic Book News here. I did not see Tenet. I can't confirm or deny. I can't say the Wonder Woman 84 were not too good. I'm not gonna lie, that one wasn't too good. Wonder Woman 84 also saw its Rotten Tomatoes scores plummet from 89 to 65, and its audience score dropped a bit to 73. So we see the critics and fans are in agreement. Actually, it went much lower. It got into the 40s just for the Twitter users, no, or not Twitter users, just for the audience score. So, but those were not verified, and I did use the unverified ones, and the verified ones seem to be a little bit higher than that. So, are people just going in and leaving a bad review? Possibly. But this doesn't seem to be one of those cases where they're that concerned with people coming in and making sure that they leave some positives too to kind of balance it. Regarding the announcement, Wonder Woman 3 is happening. Oh, yeah. And it has no release date. It could be years away, possibly 2024 at the earliest, as Jenkins and Gadot are tied up with Cleopatra at Paramount and Star Wars Rogue Squadron at Disney. And that's two separate movies, they're not attached to both. But Wonder Woman, Cleopatra, Patty Jenkins, Star Wars. It seems obvious Warner Brothers announced Wonder Woman 3 in an attempt to combat all the negativity surrounding Wonder Woman 84. Oh, there's been really trying to silence, it's not so much silence, it's they're not saying anything. It's very sparse as far as news goes for Wonder Woman 84. They're not saying a whole lot of anything. Nobody's really telling anybody anything. The news stories aren't reporting it because they don't want to have to give a bad review. They don't want to have to say, hey, a movie that, a movie we were all, shilling for flopped, as far as they were. I'm not shilling for anything, as you can see. But if you guys do like my content, please like, subscribe, and share. And while they attempt to spin things as if it's positive, that's pretty much what I was concluding. It seems like they're trying to put a more positive spin on this one and not focus on the bad box office, which, you can kind of just throw that out the window because we have no idea what a good box office is in this sort of unprecedented times, quote unquote. But there is a lot of bad buzz, negative reviews. A lot of people saying, yeah, it wasn't very good. It was slow and boring all over the place on social media. So take that as you will. Oh, this is interesting. They did not release an updated subscriber number for HBO Max. And he points out here, certainly if the number of subscribers skyrocketed due to Wonder Woman 84, they would have announced it, right? This reminds me a lot of Star Trek Discovery or Picard, where you get a lot of people in just to watch the first thing. But then again, if you're just trying out HBO Max, you still have to give them a credit card and you still have to sign up. So you're going to be signing up even if you're not paying for anything. And he continues, it's my guess if Wonder Woman 84 would have been released during normal times, that it would have had a large box office opening, but would have completely tanked in the subsequent weekends, much like in China. Again, where the, cough cough isn't much of a factor, and which is our best indication of a quote-unquote normal box office. Oh, yeah, I think had we had a normal box office time, had all this stuff not happened and this came out when it was supposed to last year, we would have been talking about how much this movie tanked and flopped just for being dull and boring and not that good. And now, the other thing that we do have to talk about before I end this video, there is a scene in which Diana has wished, and her wish is fulfilled, that Steve is back, and she gets to be with Steve again, and there are consequences to this. The person's body that Steve embodies is unaware completely of what his body is being used for, is what he's being used for. And as a lot of people have pointed out, well, he's a guy and probably wouldn't protest to someone like Gal Gadot, one of the most gorgeous, beautiful, attractive women on the planet, having fun with him. And let's just use that terminology, right? So you wouldn't have a lot of men really object to this. It's still non-consensual because he's not there. He's not awake to give consent. But that's just kind of the thing. It's aren't we supposed to be concerned with that? Aren't we supposed to, say, hey, what about him? Him too? Are we supposed to do something like that? So it just kind of makes me, it's the more I think about it, the less I really am okay with some of those. And I get that that's some of the consequences. But maybe instead of an hour of, Pedro Pascal doing absolutely nothing, you could have had some sort of consequences with that. Maybe had that kind of pop up a little bit and had that been really why. She's like, I can't take, I guess it kind of was, but still just, it just kind of felt odd to me that we're perfectly okay with that. And nobody's writing all these articles about Wonder Woman having her way with some guy without his consent. So What do you guys think? Tell me what you think in the comment section below. Sorry for the odd sound and different background, but it's temporary, I promise. I am Mecha Random 42, and I will see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
Imagine there's no heaven. You hear